it's Birdman for Birdman on the Mountain, hanging out here in Show Low, Arizona. I'm actually hanging out at the Starbucks, and I've got with me a Teri Houihan. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Okay. And Terri, you were actually collecting signatures to get on the ballot for governor, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So talk to me about, let's first of all talk about you. Let's talk about your history. Start with being an Arizona native. You've already told me that.
Yeah. So thank you for inviting me too.
You bet.
So I'm an Arizona native. I lived in Glendale my whole life. I still live in Glendale. Part of my story is that I am sober from drugs and alcohol, 23 years old, so 17 and a half years sober. And I gave my life to Christ at 23 when I got sober, and I went into the helping area. So helping field, and that's part of my story to being governor today that I like to tell because it kind of gets me to this point of where I'm at. So, I'm a high school dropout, but then when I got sober, I went back. I was still in school. I got my bachelor's. I got my master's degree in counseling. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I went on to get my PhD in 2018 in counselor education and supervision. And I started a company in 2017 after working in mental health. My focus was to help the addiction recovery community because that's what I came from, and to help them to get sober and to find, new life, essentially. I started a company in 2017 when I earned my LPC, licensed professional counselor, and it's called Terry's Health Services. And it started just with me in 2017, and within 8 months, I hired my first therapist and under me, and by 2019, I had about 10 staff, and I expanded to be medical, psychiatric, psychological services, so licensed psychologists doing evaluations, and then counseling. And we, in COVID, we grew very fast because we were providing services that many others were not, which was in-person integrated healthcare in licensed facilities and home settings and clinics across the state. And by 2023, I had 250 employees, and we were servicing over 30 cities. We were over 9 counties. We were contracted within school districts. We were mental health counselors in school districts. We were in large shelters like Phoenix Rescue Mission, Changing Life Center. We were in hospital settings and throughout the valley. And then on 9/22/2023, one of my employees called me and said, "Terri, we're on the Medicaid suspension list." And I knew what that meant. I knew that meant that we had an allegation of fraud. Knowing I didn't commit fraud, I appealed it right away.
Right.
And the same day, actually, my lawyers, who had been with me for 4 years, appealed it. And it took about 5 weeks to get the discovery and went from access. And when we got discovery, we realized that there was some sort of software issue happening in our software where it created the claims incorrectly.
Okay.
This didn't amount to more money in my pocket. This just is how it flagged access in the system. So I hired experts. They reported on this to access. I should have been let off within 90 days because we had a settlement conference, and we told them all this, showed them the evidence. The software company admitted it. I'm in litigation today with the software company. I can't say the name of the software company.
That's fine.
I stayed on that list. And it took me 2 years and 7 days to clear my name. And in that process, I am still fighting with the government to completely free me of this total nightmare.
And when you say government, I just want to be clear. Is it state or federal or both?
State agency, yeah.
Okay,
I was never indicted for fraud. It was always just a civil area.
Right.
An allegation of which today, I started working, I started to get political when nothing was happening on my case. You just sit there like a duck. There's over 1,000 providers today that this is happening to. And we just sit there like ducks, waiting. And many of them are innocent. Many of them are not, right? But I know that there's many that are innocent, and many providers today who are not getting paid, who are active and good providers. That's happening.
Right.
And in our state. And so
now, is this just Access, or is it another department within the state? Access.
Just
okay.
Access Medicaid. And just for people listening, in Arizona, there are 7 managed care companies, organizations, MCOs are called. So Mercy Care, UHC Community Plan. So we are contracted with all the community plans, all the MCOs, and then Access. Access is its own hub. So we had over 100 contracts with health plans. Only one was affected by the software error. Only one came against me with this allegation of fraud stemming from that. Right. Okay. So no other issues have ever been propagated against me. So from any other health plan. So I, in September of 24, I was at a conference and I met a woman. Her name is Deborah Nardozzi. She was a legislative district 8. She's running for Senate right now against Senator Kuby. I can't remember which district, but wonderful person. She came up to me. I didn't know her. She didn't know me. She just came up and said hi. I went up to her later. I said, can I meet with you sometime? I have a story to tell. I need help. She says, yes, absolutely. So she gives, we meet about a week later. I lay everything out. My experts had reported, I hired experts in my company. They reported there was no fraud, waste, abuse, all this. The software error happened. The software company admitted it happened. And so we sat down with them and she said, she believed me. So she wanted to help. So then she had Magali Bearden, who's she's not a legislator, but she's in the district. She helps with policy making. Yes. She met with me. She said, okay, I believe you. They started helping me to get into with Access. I started meeting directly with Access OIG. I always had attorneys involved. But Access OIG, I met with Vanessa Templeman, who's the Inspector General. Julie Colton was on my case. I never met with her directly, but Rebecca Hernandez, some other people. And so I started working with them directly. I sent them all the paperwork. I reached out to them, and then I met with them. So 10-9, I met with them 2024, 11-20, 2024, and it was going very good. They cleared me of 92.5% of all the cap items. I was waiting for the last 3 items to be removed. Every week I reached out to them, and every week they told me they were still reviewing. Now we're in June of 25. I'm losing my company. Mind you, what a provider goes through when this is happening to them is absolutely a traumatic experience at its most. Right. And it's every day you're almost in tears, if not in tears, trying to save your company. I laid off over 240 employees. It's devastating and traumatic. And so I reached out to Vanessa Templeman. I had recorded 6 phone calls with her, of which she didn't know, but that's allowed in the
state of Arizona.
Yep.
One person.
Yep. Yes. And thank God I did, because in June of 18 and 25, she cuts me off after working with me for that long. And then a month later, I get a termination exclusion. Then 2 months after that, I'm totally cleared of all fraud, waste, abuse. So now, why wouldn't they remove me from the termination exclusion list? Right. Why wouldn't they give me my money back that they owe me over $2 million? Why would it, between all the MCOs and all this, right. Why would they, so I filed lawsuit. So in this time frame, once they termed and excluded me, I said, I'm going to start talking. Right. So at August 2nd of 25, I started talking on social media about what was happening to me. Very quickly, I started to be retaliated against by the government, by the state agency. Julie Colton filed a harassment injunction against me. This is the top investigator on my case, or one of them. And then the judge says, just don't contact. I've never contacted her. I've never had contact with her, but I can still post. It's free speech. Okay. Then they started doing multiple complaints to my licensing board. Licensing board opened up, all because I'm speaking out about what's happening in the state and what's happening to providers, not just me, thousands of providers throughout the state of Arizona and more. We're talking thousands of patients being harmed by this Medicaid system that continuously terms, excludes, and suspends providers without proper notice, without proper investigation. And these providers are going out of business and they're servicing our most vulnerable members. And so I started talking. I didn't stop talking. I won't stop talking. Then August, so they did four board complaints on me. My board starts colluding with them to stop me. So they bring me to an emergency board hearing.
Yep.
And to see if I need a psychological evaluation on 10/10. And they didn't allow my attorney to represent me, who was right next to me, denied me the right to an attorney, took a vote to deny me an attorney, then voted 4-3 on that I should be required to have a psychological evaluation. So, because of my social media posts, so I filed a lawsuit against them.
You're on board. Yeah.
All during this time, I decided I'm going to run for governor.
Okay.
There's no other. And that's where I'm at. That's where it comes to, right? Is experiencing what harm this. If I'm being harmed by this agency, of which I'm not my heart is still for the most vulnerable people in our state.
Right.
And for the people that are underserved. And if I, who am not underserved, am being treated this way, and I can't imagine the way that other people are being treated that are underserved.
Right.
In economic statuses that I'm not in. And that is devastating to me because they're not fighting, they're bankrupting providers. So I said the only way I can change this is to try to be governor.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is I reached out to our governor's office. I reached out to Chris May's office. I drove down to the AG's office. I sat with Daniel Miller. I tried everything, and nobody, even the legislators, Senator Warner, Senator Finchon, there's Senate hearings with Access and Access OIG that are archived today, 8/18, 10/1, and 11/12/2025, all 25, where they're grilling Access and OIG and DHS on their part in all of this, but not only their part, why are they allowing providers that are good providers to go out of business? And they're destroying the community of which we live in. They don't have answers. They don't have answers. And the fact is that they can't, these senators, as much as they want to change the system, and they are, because these people are testifying and therefore we can utilize it in court, which I am, and others are, their ceiling is Governor Hobbs. And Governor Katie Hobbs, in my opinion, does not govern the state agencies like she should be. And we are suffering as a state because these agencies are not being governed. In fact, Chris May's, her too. Chris May sat with Justin Lum. It's a recorded, I think it's May 22nd, 2025. It's a recorded Justin Lum interview is live, but it's recorded now, where she reported that it would take 10 years to fix this Medicaid fraud issue. 10 years to fix an issue. And the thing that I talk about is, it's literally a fraud faucet, okay? It should not take 10 years to turn off a fraud faucet. It's a fraud faucet, turn it off. You're paying providers that are fraudulently billing, turn off the fraud faucet, and then get in there and fix the issues and get these providers that are good providers back in the system. But they're not. And she said on that interview, they're not stepping in, they're giving some advice to a state agency that literally lost billions of dollars to our state, and yet our Chris Mays, and mind you, they don't even use the Attorney General's office to defend themselves.
Right.
They're using private attorneys that are themselves questionable in how they act towards us as the public who are paying their salaries. And It just, and we're paying millions of dollars for them to have private attorneys, and these private attorneys, it's a conflict of interest.
Yep. So let me hold up here for a minute and sort of interject a little bit. If you're a consistent listener of Birdman and Birdman, the podcasts that we have here, you're going to think that I sought Teri out and found her specifically because she aligns with a lot of the things we've talked about, a lot of the shows we've talked about, anywhere from substance abuse to narcissism to all of it. And you're not aware of that. So my understanding of what you're talking about might sound conspiracy theory to some people. Might sound like, oh, this overwhelming thing. And I want to dissect that a little bit. So first of all, no, I didn't seek her out. In fact, I went to the library yesterday for my kid to go see a Dungeons and Dragons thing, which wasn't there. And Teri was in the lobby getting signatures to get on the ballot. That's how I met Teri. I did see that you had posted up on social media that you were going to be, I think you were at one of the cafes here recently the night before. So I knew you were in the area, but other than that, that's the only thing I knew about you. So what you're speaking to is, it's funny because you want to be upset at a person. You want to say this person's bad, that Governor Hobbs is bad, or this. The system's broke, and it's so broke. It's so broke that when somebody gets put in charge of it, they are so overwhelmed, they don't know how to deal with it. And I've heard these kind of cases where they try to work with you and they tell you, oh, just another week, from every single agency that we have in the state. And it doesn't matter if it's ADOH, it doesn't matter if it's the Office of Tourism, it doesn't matter if it's licensing, it's all the same because the system has been set to funding comes in, and the only way the funding goes out is they have to follow these certain policies. And as you're saying, they're saying, oh, it's going to be 10 years to break it. We need to break it. Period. And honestly, that's going to be the only, and yes, some people are going to suffer, but the number of people that are going to suffer in the short term is going to be far less than the people that are suffering every single day. Because of what's going on. It looks like it's working. It looks good on paper. It's not working.
It's not working.
No. So I fully understand what you're saying, and I hope the listeners understand that this isn't isolated.
It's not isolated.
And you're not talking just about woe is me. You're saying, you know what you went through, so now you're like, crap, does this mean? And other people just gave up.
So I'm essentially running for governor because it's not just happening to me, right? I wouldn't, and it's affecting our entire state. Yes. And people have asked me, why don't you run for legislative? I said no, because there's no way that I can change what needs to be changed in the state unless I'm in the governor's seat. So, because the governor's seat is where everything is going to change. The state, I think many people don't understand that the governor's office is responsible. She sits above these agencies. She is the CEO of these agencies. She, he, whoever is in that. And so if these agencies or systems are failing, well, guess what? You look right up at the CEO, okay? And it's past the CEO that's in that organization. But my thing is, why are these people remaining in their positions, right? These state agencies are failing. These are employees. They are employed. They are employees of that agency.
They're servants of the state.
They are servants of the state.
So I've worked for local government, so we get paid by tax dollars, which we take from people.
Yes. But what my point is they can be terminated. They don't need to be recalled.
Nope, they don't.
So the fact is that if I'm governor and I'm over these agencies, you better believe that if the state agency is losing billions of dollars, that person is not going to keep their position. But that's what's happening in our state, is that people are not only keeping their positions, they're actually promoting in their positions. They're promoting and getting pay raises, and it's happening throughout the states, throughout these agencies. And so the question is why? Why are these people continuously, who's part of the problem, if not the problem, still remaining in their position? No other company would do this. You know, as an employer myself, you don't keep the problem in the agency.
No,
okay?
you don't.
Otherwise, the agency continues to fail. And so therefore, why does our governor continue to keep it's a question, right? Why? We can hypothesize why. We could say what we think. I think she just lacks, a lot of, it's oversight into these agencies to begin with, right? So as governor, I will create revamp the agencies, get rid of the people that are causing some of these issues, if not perpetuating the issue is happening within. And I use the analogy or the metaphor of let's look at the Cardinals who sucked last year, right? All right, who did they just fire 15 minutes after the last game?
Yeah.
It's the coach. The coach always goes, however many long, I don't know how long it was, that could have been. I think he was called 15 minutes after by another coach head, but
right.
But I don't know when he was. So regardless, he was fired.
Right.
I use that, like, you don't keep the main person involved, right? So that would be one of the first things, is just revamping the agencies, terminating the people that are at the top that are consistently failing in their positions, and get people in there that know what they're doing and working for the state. Because people are hurting people. Our government is hurting people right now in the state of Arizona. These public servants do not know that they're public servants. They don't, for instance, on the stand, Julie Colton testified last week. She said in a hearing with me that the judge says, "Are you employed, or are you voted in or whatever?" And she goes, "No, I'm employed. I'm an employee." "So you're a public servant?" She goes, "Well, I don't really think of myself as a public servant," and laughed about it. And it was like,
"Are you paid with tax dollars?"
This is the deputy inspector. I mean, this is the thing. And she didn't think twice about it. It's like, and she was laughing about it. And I'm like thinking, like, I know you don't recognize, your attorneys don't recognize it. And I call their attorneys public servants in a way, because they're serving the public by serving these agencies, but yet they're doing a disservice to the public because they're not helping us. They're not a mitigating factor in this situation. They're not. I mean, they're part of the problem. And why are we paying private attorneys? Part of what, I've heard other candidate, Rodney Glassman, talk about, where he said, he's going to put the AG's office in charge of things. And I think that's important, right? I mean, why would we pay millions?
You would think the government attorney would be representing the government employees, and I don't know. Maybe unless there's a conflict, and that's then needs to be disclosed. So,
I don't know.
I don't know either. Okay, so call to action. What do you need right now? You need signatures, correct?
Yeah, so I'm a clean elections candidate. So what that means is I am not taking PAC money, business money, only individual funds, right? People can donate, anybody in the nation can donate up to $220 for just themselves, individuals, not through a business. And then if you're an Arizona registered voter, any party can pledge $5. And that $5, I need 4,000 $5 pledges to get the campaign funded through the state, which is a huge deal. And I still have a lot to get.
Okay.
and then any register or any independent or no party can sign the petition.
Okay. And you have a link, you have a website, or do you have the Facebook page and all that? We'll get those links. We'll put those down below so people can go to that and help support you if they would like to do that. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I want to save Arizona.
Okay.
I'm the most passionate governor candidate. I am you. That's what I say.
Awesome.
I'm not a politician background.
So give me your full name again so you say it.
So Teri Houihan.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Birdman. Once again, just remember, if you have any other questions, comments, things like that, reach out to us, and we'll see you soon.